You are now tuned in to The Money Zone with your host, Folasade, the accountant for entrepreneurs. The time is now, your future waits, your money matters, make no mistake, it's not too late to dominate, so don't delay, get your money straight. The money zone, together we'll achieve your goals, we're building wealth, you're not alone, so don't delay, get your money straight.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm your host, Folasade, the accountability accountant, guys. Look, today is today's the last Tuesday that I'm going to see you this month. And I'm just excited because we have so much to talk about tonight. We're talking about the state of Black entrepreneurship. And then, look, I never did a show when we just talking about all hot topics, though, y'all. But guess what? We are. The second segment is all about the hot topics. We're talking about Equifax. We're talking about Capital One. We're talking about Adrian Patterson. We're talking about everything tonight. So if you have never tuned in to The Money Zone, I'm Folasade, the accountability accountant. Entrepreneurs and individuals hire me to help them achieve their business and financial goals, and I help them achieve their goals by incorporating accounting, tax, and bookkeeping strategy to hold them accountable, so you can now achieve your goals. If you're not following me on all things social media, head over there to all things social. So this is Instagram, Twitter, everything. It's Folasade the accountant. Except for Twitter, it's Folasade Ayegbusi. But everywhere, Folasade the accountant. Go ahead on over there. But better yet, guys, if you're watching us on Facebook, don't forget, go to ripradionetwork.com. Go to the show, go to the studios page and watch it there and share the feed as well, because it's better in terms of traction, communication, and if anything happened, if Facebook stops showing right now, guess what? You will be able to continue watching the show. So, guys, guess what? I'll be right back in a few. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so like I said, today, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, No, that was like one of my favorite shows though, y'all. Like, let's be honest, most of us, Mr. Rogers. Okay, so the state of Black entrepreneurship, guys, oh my goodness. So, I've always reading and I'm like, okay, so what should I talk about today? Because, it's a lot of millionaires popping up online. Well, I'm not even going to say a lot, quite a bit, but a lot of them are not Black. Few of them are. So we have like 30 odd so Black millionaires that have popped up on the scene. They're driving the Bentley and the Rolls Royce and got the house and the nanny and the cleaner and the cook and the everything, right? And so like that piqued my interest onto, okay, you know what? I need to figure out like where do businesses stand right now? Especially African American businesses. What is the data saying about African American businesses, right? Are we doing good? Or, where do we stand? And I know you guys are probably curious. So if you are curious and you're watching this on social media or you're watching this on the website on ripradionetwork.com, don't forget to share this up with your friends, because just as well as you're curious, your girlfriend, your husband, your fiance, whatever the case may be curious. So first things first, what's happening? So right now, as you can see in Trump, if you go to Article 2, Black Enterprise, there is a major surge in Black entrepreneurship, okay? Black entrepreneurship. There is a major surge with Black entrepreneurship. But the problem that we're facing in the state of entrepreneurship is that we have very little access to capital. We have very, 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 very little access to capital. And as you can clearly see on the chart that's on the screen, it says Black entrepreneurs report profits are negatively impacted by the access to capital. And we are impacted at by 28.4% says that their access to capital has hindered their business. So what does that say? The state of entrepreneurship is exactly where we used to be. We're still there as African American based businesses. Years and years ago, our ancestors, when they had businesses in the early, 1900s or whatever, 1920s, 1930s, 1950s, they had a difficult time in gaining access to capital. And that is still the case today. So I'm trying to figure out what is happening. Is it because there's no capital out there? Is it because we don't know where to go? And I'm going to be honest with you, after doing a deep dive, and this is just my opinion on the deep dive, okay? I've taken all of the data and then I've applied my analysis on this. So my deep dive is that we are not being 100% resourceful, okay? So for example, if you've been with a bank for so many years, instead of you listening to your girlfriend or your fiance and say that, African American business owners don't get loans, you don't attempt to go and try to get a loan. You sit there and you still suffer in building your business instead of going to the source and say, hey, you know what? My business is struggling right now, or my business is rolling right now. So remember, don't forget, we need funding even if we are making money. And that's a problem. So as we used to be in years and years ago, we could say, let's say 50 years, because that's about the right time. About 50 years ago, we struggled with obtaining access to capital. And that's exactly. So the state of entrepreneurship, when it comes down to getting funding, is still the same. We lack it. We need help. Okay? So if you can go to image number 2, Trump. So look, so I'm seeing here like, okay, so our access to capital hasn't changed. Okay, so that's the same one. Yes, so now you guys look at the screen now. You see more Black entrepreneurs rely on personal credit cards as a source of startup capital. Okay, so they're saying that the majority of Black-owned businesses are, one, we don't have access to funding, okay? 2, we're using personal credit cards to start up our business, okay? And that is bad. I couldn't even think of no smart word to basically say. That is not good. So that means either we don't have a savings because we're using credit. So we don't have a savings. That means we probably don't have a retirement account, or that means we burnt out of that funds already, right? And we have to use credit cards. Or guess what? It also now confirms that our access to capital is limited, because if we had the opportunity to go and get capital, wouldn't you? We wouldn't be sitting here using our personal credit cards to basically build our business. So the state of Black entrepreneurship is almost, even if there's a surge, and so you know what, guys, you know what, we're just going full circle. Because if you think about it, about 50 years ago, we had more Black entrepreneurs than we have today. And they were much more successful. We were the corner store. We were the Levi's. We were the carryout. We were all of those things. We were the drivers. We were all of the businesses that we actually patronize now. We had them inside of our community. So we're actually just going full circle with entrepreneurship right now. And guys, let me know if you feel like we're going full circle with entrepreneurship. Look, I want to hear from you. 301-232-5700. Do you agree with me? Are you having a hard time with getting capital in your businesses? Did you start up your business using your credit cards? Did you? And I want to hear, because this will confirm the data. So give me a call, 301-232-5700. So Trump, if you can go to the third image. So look, so now figure 5 says, and all of this comes from the U.S. Census Bureau. So if you want to know where I'm getting my statistics from, it comes from the U.S. Census Bureau. Yeah. So figure 5 says more white entrepreneurs rely on business loans from banks or other financial institutions as a source of startup capital. And they are at the top of 18.7%. And African Americans, Blacks, are at the bottom at 15.2%. Okay. And then they have the Hispanics broken down based on non-immigrant and immigrant status. So what does that basically say? So what does that statistic say? It says that, okay, Black-owned businesses cannot go to the bank to get money. Basically what I said. Okay? And if you look at the scale, we're only getting 15.2%. And the thing about it is actually this data is even low, because according to, was it the SBA or something, we're only getting actually 2% of the loans that's issued by the SBA. So it's not just, oh, we're using credit cards to start businesses, or we're not getting funding. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I'm about to throw a straight blow at you. We can go to fight. You guys can meet me outside. No, don't meet me outside the studio, though. Don't meet me outside the studio. I got to go home to my babies, right? But guys, I just concluded, like, are we actually going after the loans? So the data says that we're not getting approved. But to be honest with you, I have clients now that I've been pushing for years to go get funded from the bank. Until this day, they refuse. Until this day, they're scared. Until this day, they have that old school saying, oh, I don't want to owe nobody no money. But guess what? You may need that money to build your business, to scale your business and take it to new heights. So where's the state of Black entrepreneurship? It's actually growing because we have more people that are bold enough to step out. But the problem is that we're not turning them into successes. Okay, so think about it. If it's 15 million small businesses out there that are African American owned, and we only see 100 millionaires on Insta and Facebook, and the ones that, let's say even 200 out of how many millions? Come on now, guys. We have to really ask ourselves, are we doing what's required? Are we doing what's required to get the loan? And I'm going to be honest with you, we're not. We're not. And let me tell you why we're not. And then I'm going to go right back into the second aspect of the state of Black entrepreneurship. First aspect was funding. We're not getting it. So we're still weak. There will never be any growth in African American owned businesses if we cannot get any funding. Okay? We need the funding. So, all right. So Trump, if you can go to article number 2 where it says Black enterprise. So according to, like I said, this confirms that there's a major surge in Black entrepreneurship, especially when it comes down to women entrepreneurs. But guess what? Like we said, number one, you're not able to get funding. But the problem is, though, you guys are not doing what's required to get funding. So to get a bank loan, you need financial statements, okay? So you need financial statements for 2 and 3 years at a time. Okay. It's on the format sheet. To get a bank loan, you need all of the first 3 years of you being in business, your financial statement. So that means if you're not doing bookkeeping, you're not able to provide that bank with the information that it needs to see if you are going to be approved for the loan. So first of all, yes, probably by the time you submit your application, they will discriminate on you. That's the odds, okay, of being in, Black business person, right? That's the odds. But at least step one, you have the financial statements. At least step two, your business is in good standing. At least step three, you understand? You have assets, all of your schedules and your tax returns filed. At least you are in the position, okay, to be able to say, hey, I have my stuff in order. Please see if I can get this loan. But that's not what's happening, guys. You aren't doing the work. Guys, we're going to take a quick break on the state of Black entrepreneurship. If you have not shared the video on all things social, or if you're watching it online on RedRadioNetwork.com, don't forget to share the video. But we will be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the state of Black entrepreneurship. So we talked about, number one, that we still are in a tough spot right now because we're unable to obtain funding. And so I mentioned that, are we doing the work to be able to get funding at least? Like, are we setting up our positions in the way that we're able? And so here's 3 ways, and then I'm going to go right into, you one, need to create a proven concept. If your concept isn't proven, they're not going to give you funding, and you have to be able to like really make money. Like, they don't give money to businesses that just seem like it's not going to work. So you have to have your numbers in order, which is your financial statements and your accounting, and then you have to have a proven concept. So if you lack those 2 things, and most Black-owned businesses do lack those 2 things because we don't want to put in the systems to create a proven process, a proven concept, and we're not doing our accounting. So guess what? Our lack of funding will always be one of the things that we're suffering from, and will stunt our growth because we aren't doing the behind the scenes work. So Trump, if you go to the Black Enterprise article, the Black Enterprise article basically says, if you scroll down, that, right now this is our time. Like, women entrepreneurship are going at it completely. Keep going down. Women entrepreneurs are going at it, but this is the thing, guys, we're right there. We're still struggling, and we're still struggling because of multiple reasons. Okay, and it's funding, and then it's also the fact that we need access, not just access to capital, but access to knowledge, access to resources, and access to connections. And so, you know how they say, when you get to the top, you pull the next person up? Most cultures go back and pull somebody up, okay? But in the African American culture, we leave the hood and we like, hey, I'm out like a light. Oh, like a light. That's what y'all be in the car, out like a light. And it's the truth. So now, to be really honest with you, the state of Black entrepreneurship is worse off because we are not pulling each other forward. We're getting the first millionaire in the family, but guess what? You guys are not allowing the first millionaire to help you become the first millionaire because you haven't obtained the mindset to be able to now say, okay, whatever auntie give me, I'm going to start my little business, or whatever mommy give me, I'm going to go in and do this study or invest into this. That's not what's happening. If you think about the first millionaire in your family, what did they do? What did they buy? What car, what house, what type of Gucci belt, Prada, Louis Vuitton did they buy the family? And guess what? The family is still broke. So one of the reasons why I think the state of Black entrepreneurship is failing us as a community is because we're not going back and pulling each other up. Okay, so what happens is this: now the access to capital is low because, one millionaire should help create at least one more millionaire. But if they're not able to help create you, then guess what? They won't be able to fund more businesses. You won't be able to help fund more businesses. See, guys, this is the problem. If we have to go out of our community to get funding, then we're never going to be able to get the funding that we need. You have to now start asking yourself this: when are we going to be honest with ourselves and say that we should be able to supply everything that we need? And so look, now this goes right into, I was watching Killer Mike. I don't know if you guys know Killer Mike. But he's a big activist, political activist or whatever. And so he has a Netflix show, and I'm not sponsoring his show or anything, but you guys want to go ahead on over there and watch at least the first episode. And what he attempted to do, this comes right into what we're talking about today on the show. He attempted to live off the Black community, like basically eat only Black food, buy from Black stores, sleep in Black hotels and everything. And guys, we failed him. We as a community failed him. He had to sleep on the bench because there was no Black hotels, no Black Airbnbs, no Black anything. He barely was able to find food because, one, we have no Black farms. We don't, create our own food or, manufacture anything. He couldn't even really wear the clothes that he had on his back or the shoes on his feet. Nothing, because what's happening is that we are not creating things. So the state of Black entrepreneurship is worse off because at least we were creators, okay? At least we were creators. So if you look at your most recent social media influencer, they are now creators. So you got Super Sense, she done created Crayon Case. We got BB Judith, she done created Kaleidoscope. You got Jai Nice, she done created Closet Envy. These are now Black-owned businesses that we now need to expand to other areas outside of just beauty and clothing. When are we going to get Black hotels? When are we going to get Black banks? But it requires us to go back. What I just said, number 3 was, we got to go back and pull up somebody. So are we going back and pulling up somebody? So the state of Black entrepreneurship, guys, is worse off than where it is. Okay, we're worse off. And not only that, the stats say that there's no employees. Each business don't have no employees. They said 98% of every small business owner, every small business, right, has no employees. None at all. Not even one. The only employee that they have is themselves. That's it. So what that says also we're not able to go back and pull nobody up, and we're not able to employ. So again, the money is not staying within the community. So if you guys want to know really what the state of Black entrepreneurship, take a look at yourself in the mirror and take a look at who you're feeding. Yes, take a look at who we're feeding. So I don't know what school did this article, but this was one of, if you can scroll down, Trump, it said the state of Black entrepreneurship in America, evaluated relation between immigration and minority business ownership. So this article struck a chord for me because, you know, I'm African and American. My dad is Nigerian. Well, what they would say, Nigerian American. My dad's Nigerian. My mom's American. And so I get hit with this stuff twofold. So I have like the hustle of a manic because I don't work like most Black Americans. I don't, and I'm not fully African either. So I kind of, I'm in the middle, kind of like a lost cause, lost soul. Well, I don't know, but they say the black sheep, right? So what does that mean? So basically that article was saying that more immigrants get access to funding than Black Americans. Immigrants get more funding than Black Americans. This article broke it down that they start up their businesses not just with credit cards, but they start their business up with funding. So the state of Black entrepreneurship, guys, is worse off than where it was 50 plus years ago, simply because we are still in a state where we're not creating things, okay? So we're not creating things, and then we're not turning over the dollar. They said that the dollar stays in the Black community 6 minutes. And this hit me when George on Periscope, George Pitts on Periscope said this. He said, it hit me, and I was thinking, I started processing it. So are you telling me that the moment that my people money hit their bank account, like the moment that the direct deposit come in, at 12 o'clock, y'all supposed to be asleep. So the direct deposit come at 12 o'clock p.m., 12 o'clock a.m., and you're telling me that the direct deposit at 12 a.m. did not stay into a Black American's bank account no longer than 12:06 a.m.? That doesn't make sense to me. But that also shows you the state of Black entrepreneurship is failing us right now. And here's why before we go right into our hot topics, guys. So if you haven't grabbed a pen or paper right now, you want to go and grab a pen and paper. And if you're bold enough to tell me right now, 301-232-5700, I want to hear the bold. Like, come on, guys. I'm not coming up on here every Tuesday to talk, to see and hope that you guys get it. You guys have to get this now, because we may never get this opportunity to make as much money as freely as we possibly can ever again. When they figure out how to stop this internet madness craze, we will be kicked out. So call me 301-232-5700 if your business is struggling with getting funding, if you've had a hard time with pulling somebody else up and having Black people work in your businesses. Let me know, because I've been struggling too with that, y'all. It's hard to find a Black person to work for me. It is so hard. I hire, they don't last, but we're not going to talk about it. I want to hear your story. 301-232-5700. So guys, to get your pen and paper. So 3 ways that you as an individual can do your part to help the state of Black entrepreneurship is, first off, look at what you're buying and seeing if you can buy it in the black-owned store. Now, see, this is the thing. You may not be able to buy everything. Start off with first buying your makeup. Start off with first buying your clothes. So instead of going to Fashion Nova, go buy from John Knight. Start there. You know what I mean? Instead of going to Fashion Nova, go buy from Miami Bling or something. Go start with the little boutiques you see now. The second thing, go and patronize your black-owned restaurants. They are struggling too. So go and patronize them. Do your live streams in them. Talk about the food. If it's good, give them testimonials. And this is another thing, guys. You're not giving each other testimonials. But you want people to support your black-owned business, but you're not even bold enough to put a testimonial out there. It is time that you guys say, guess what? She worked. He worked. They got good product. Their food is good. This place is amazing. It's beautiful, and you will love it. Remember, just because it's black owned, that does not mean other cultures will not patronize it. That's what it's for. It's for everybody. But the issue is this: it starts with us. Okay, remember, we are the culture. We start everything. The moment you say your girlfriend product work and you put it on social, she probably get a little bit more sales. So come on now, stop liking Walmart. So this blows me, y'all. Y'all didn't like Walmart, but you can't borrow no money from Walmart. But you didn't like my page. No shade. Whoever, follow me and you didn't try to hit me up and borrow some money or whatever, family, friend, foe, whatever the case may be. If you didn't like my Facebook page and your girlfriend's Facebook page and your cousin's Facebook page, but you steady borrowing money from her, but you best friends with Walmart, you share Walmart stuff and Target and everybody else, shame on you. So that's number two. We have to start giving each other referrals and testimonials and speaking the truth, not just when you don't like the product or when the service don't work or when they failed you because they tired. Do it when the services are amazing. I had a client that I serviced for 4 years straight, no problem. He got into a problem because of his stuff, y'all. I didn't do nothing. I laid him out. You can even check the review on Google. I laid him out. But he didn't even review when I was getting, when his taxes were perfect. He got audited because of him, not me. He didn't claim all the income. He didn't tell me he got a 1099. But what he didn't do was say, Folasade held me down the first 4 years when services were great. So we have to do this. So that's number one. Start pulling somebody up. Number two, give testimonials. No, number one, buy stuff from black-owned businesses. Number two, start giving testimonials. And then last but not least, you guys are going to be mad at me. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. If you think about this, our buying power exceeds almost every culture. Okay? So if you patronize the small black-owned businesses, they will be able to get their products and stuff at a lower price and will be able to compete against the Walmart eventually and be able to compete possibly against Amazon sellers and stuff. But if you guys are not buying from them, they're going to always get their products at a high cost. So if you're wondering why black-owned businesses food costs much more and why the products and the clothes cost more, because they cannot get it at such a low cost. Okay? They're not building plants in India. And see, that's the thing, guys. That's the secret. Go build your own plants in India. Go build your own plants in Africa. Go back to the motherland and build your plants. It's going to be tough, but the same way Amazon and all these big companies intruded these countries, you can do the same thing to get your product out there and manufacture it. So guys, it is time that we start being creators instead of just being consumers. I'm your girl Folasade, and we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade, the accountability accountant. Guys, if you're not following me on all things social, please head over there. Folasade, the accountant, everywhere on social media. So we were just talking about the state of Black entrepreneurship. So if you have not caught that, you want to go to ripradionetwork.com and catch the replay once I'm done at 8 o'clock. It should be up, give or take about maybe 30 or so minutes. It should be right on up there, and check it out and post your comments. But guys, we're now into hot topics, okay? So Capital One, as you guys know, ended up getting hacked, and in a breach of 100 million Capital One credit card applications and accounts were impacted by the recent hack, and this is one of the largest of all times. And so the problem that I have with this is that there's really no way for us as consumers to really protect ourselves anymore. You know, so for example, my office server went down about 2 weeks ago, and this now connects with this. I have to now figure out a better way to protect my clients and my level of productivity, because now we're seeing that anything online is just not stable. Tax season, every software crashed, you know, so we have to now come up with our own precautions to protect ourselves. So guys, what you want to do, if you are a member of like Legal Shield or anything like that, or nav.com, and you want to go and put your credit on lock. And I actually have my credit locked. So if you attempted to use my information, you will not get approved, because they cannot even access my credit. Okay, so you want to go and get your credit locked from now forward. Don't take it off. Give them people a few years to get things cleaned up, complete the court case and pay you out. Then you free up your unfreeze your credit. Okay, so that's Capital One. So now Equifax, right? That's the number 2. Equifax, guys, you remember their breach? They paying out people now. So this is the thing though, guys, you about to be so mad. You about to be so mad. You about to be so mad. Why? Guess why? That's why you about to be mad. Because if their tax accountant don't do it right, you might have to pay taxes on that money. So no, let me be real serious right now. So, you know, Equifax had that breach, and now they're paying out, I think it's like 149 million, or $700 million, right? Okay, so that's 700 million. If you receive $1,000, right, depending on how they classify for tax purposes, and since there's no physical damage, right, that may be considered income. So for all of you that will be receiving any money from Equifax or any of these recent data breaches, make sure you look out for a 1099 of some sort. Because depending on how they were able to classify it, it may be taxable to you. And that's a big thing. You don't want to get audited now because your credit then got breached, and then you didn't got paid, and then you didn't claim it on your taxes, and now you got audited, and then you owe more money because you cheated on your taxes. Because, yeah. Don't get yourself in any trouble, guys. Don't do it, okay? But last but not least, Adrian Patterson. And so, guys, this is kind of like one of those things that hit home for me, because if you don't know, Adrian Patterson is a big-time footballer. Adrian Peterson, sorry. I don't know why, and I look at it several times. Adrian Peterson, sorry, brother, sorry. Adrian Peterson, he is award, like, he's top. He's the top, like the best running back ever, right? So the problem that I have now, and if you remember a few years ago on TV when they talked about why athletes go broke, or athletes going broke, about was it 2015 or like 2005 or something? Yeah, no, 2015. Adrian Peterson said he was, and Trump just put the picture up there, where he was one of the highest tax NFL players, okay? He was one of the highest tax NFL players. But the problem was that now he's saying, after making over $100 million from the league, okay, he is financially strapped. He is broke. And I just sit back and I'm wondering, how does someone that make $100 million go broke? How does someone, and see, this is common in the African American community. Majority of all of our celebrities are broke. They don't have financial statements. So guys, let me tell you something. If you're a celebrity and you're watching this, if you're in the music industry, you need your own financial statements for you, the business, not what's going on with everybody else, yourself. And I think that's what's happening. Adrian said, all of them. Who else then went broke? Mike Tyson. Man, the list is long. What's his name? Arnold Snipes, Wesley Snipes. Oh my gosh, the list is long, guys. I should have had a whole list. I should have had Trump just rolling down a list. Yeah, oh, yes. So I should have had you had a whole list of all of the actors, celebrities, and people that went broke in the African American community. But what I'm finding is that they didn't have African American owned advisors. So, boom. They didn't have African American advisors. They had other races, which y'all say, I'm learning from the Jew. The Jew that ripped you off, right? They didn't, and I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but when you look at the stories, though, guys, they didn't have African American consultants and African American managers. They didn't. They completely left the community and they got taken advantage of. Because, see, this is the thing. And Trump, if you can play that segment from Robert Kiyosaki, it says this: if you were never taught how to manage your finances, I don't care how much money you make, you will still end up broke.
Know this. As a person, we're good. I don't have a problem with you as a person. I have a very big problem with your performance.
Poor day. He said in one of his interviews, and I think I used the video from last week too. He basically said that if you grew up poor, your odds of becoming and staying rich is 0 to none. And the reason being is because we're not financially literate. So if you are coming from a family, which majority of us African American, except the few that grew up, kind of, on the Upper East Side or whatever, right? We didn't grow up managing our money or learning about accounting, learning about budgeting and all of that stuff. But it's our duty now, guys, to learn that stuff. As you can see, Adrian Peterson, right, is basically broke now because he didn't learn how to manage his money effectively. He probably didn't know every time he made $1, every time he ran on the field, he have to pay a tax. He probably didn't know that he needed a budget and he can't just buy any and everything, and we shouldn't get homes and we shouldn't do this. He probably didn't know, and many of you don't know either. And I say this because so many of our people are being manipulated to think that we are not knowledgeable as Black financial professionals to guide you. I have clients that are multi-millionaires, and I have never put them in harm's way. And when it comes to my advice, I'm actually protecting them from harm's way. So that's another sign that the state of Black entrepreneurship is failing us, because once again, we're not even coming back into our community to get the advice that we need in the protection. And the protection is knowing that they care about you and your lineage. So for every time we lose wealth like this, of this caliber, it sets our community back twofold. So we've lost $100 million to other cultures. He bought everything else but probably buy back the block. Did I just say that? Yes. He probably did everything else but buy back the block. Okay? And so that means $100 million. Just think about this. So that means $100 million has left our community and went into another community, and it's not recircling or making a return on its investment. It's not. Because we don't own too many liquor stores, or we didn't create any alcohol outside of Jay-Z Ace of Spades. But how much is Ace of Spades? Come on now. When are we now going to start being creators and start creating our own farms again? Yes, remember, we had the KKK and we had all of that. I'm not giving no excuses no more. I'm not saying we're past that, because we're hurt by that. But as my guy said, Eric Thomas, you cannot allow your past to predicate your future. And if we are afraid of going to the next level or starting farms or being creators or being developers and building our own communities, then guess what? We're right back where we started off. The state of Black entrepreneurship will be non-existent. So I want to ask you guys before I leave here today, because I enjoyed myself. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to ask you, when are you going to step up to the plate and do the few things that I asked you guys to do today? And that is patronize another black-owned business. Number 2, go and do a testimonial for that black-owned business that you've been patronizing, but you never said nothing good about that company. Okay? And then number 3, let's start looking at the numbers. All of us. Start looking at the numbers, because they don't want us to become financially literate. They don't want us to be. So people ask me this, and I'm going to close out because I know it's going to confuse a lot of you guys. So right now, I don't have a 401k. I am 34-year-old, and I make enough money to get a 401k to put 5, 6, 7,000 in there. And the information and people that's not as financially literate as myself ask me all the time, oh, well, how are you going to be an accountant and a financial professional? Like that. And you don't even have a 401k and all of that stuff. I said, because guess what? Let me tell you this. And see, this is where it's time for you guys to understand all of this. And then we're going to close out. Any company that I give them $10,000 to $15,000 can only give me the highest return on my investment of 7%. If I was to invest $15,000 like I do every month into my business, guess where I'm at? I'm going to get more of a return on my investment. Not 7%. I'm actually going to get more than like 100, maybe 1,000% investment. So is it smart to put something back into something that you know you're going to get 100% investment from, or at least 50%, or 75%, or even 1,000%, depending on how gutter you are and how hard you work, right? Okay? So people ask, well, you're supposed to be a financial professional. No, I'm not giving them my $7,000 right now to do what? Brent and Bryce got their stuff. Now the kids have their stuff. They got their, all of their stuff, their, whole life and, everything that the kids need to be rich when they're 25, everything. But me, that's stupid. So guys, I'm going to close out with that. Are you financially literate enough to know when it's time for you to make investments into things and when it's time not to? Because many African American businesses are suffering right now because you do not have the financial literacy or the background in entrepreneurship to know when a decision is not or when a decision is. So we are struggling because we're not standing up and learning the secrets in these books and in the system. Because remember, I told you guys, marketing is not the language of business. Accounting is the language of business. And entrepreneurship will take us out of this poverty that we're suffering in. You guys are worried about gentrification. Go start a business and then we can be our own gentrification. Okay? Because see, this is the thing, we don't own the land. We have to buy some stuff before we can own it, and we haven't had enough money to buy anything. So let's keep our mouths closed and let's focus on making money and hustling. Guys, I'm your girl Folasade, the accountability accountant. Don't forget to tune in on RIP Radio Network each and every Tuesday. I'm excited, and I'll see you guys next week.